welcome back to the LEC for the last day of Super Week. Okay, Vetheo, I hear you laughing, so I guess you can hear me now? Good. As I was saying, and I'm sorry for the viewers at home, this will sound a bit of deja vu for you, but 2-1 for Misfits in the Super Week. How do you feel about the performance for the team?
I think I'm kind of happy with the result. I had hope for 3-0, but I think game yesterday was a bit hard, and yeah, I think it was hard to win game yesterday, and we still got to win, so I'm kind of happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, you introduced 2 new players to the Misfits lineup this year. It will take time for things to get in motion, as I can imagine. I do want to touch on your responsibilities within the team with these 2 new players. Does it change your role with Misfits this year?
I mean, for me, I think it changed a lot because, first of all, it's like the first time I'm not a rookie. I did 1 year in LFL, then 1 year in LEC. It's the first time I play more than 1 year in one league. And yeah, that's first time I'm not the youngest player, the one who comes. So I think I have to take like other responsibility on the team and in game and outside of the game. And I'm trying my best. I think I'm evolving a lot on this role, and it can only be great for me.
Could you elaborate on your role a bit, please, and especially with the relationship you have with Zlatan, who is a rookie in the LEC?
I mean, for example, last year, in-game stuff, there was a lot of communication who were coming from Razork and Vander, and now that they're gone, we don't have like really strong voice, I would say. So I'm trying to make my voice a bit more earned and trying to call a bit more. And outside of the game, I'm trying as much as I can to be here for my teammates and not have like the rookie role.
Having a strong voice, making the flashy plays in-game, which got you the player of the game here today with the performance you had with Silas. Explain to me, how confident did you feel during this game? And can you talk me through the team fight and the read, the insane read on the Ezreal after the Dragon fight?
I mean, I think this game was really easy to play for us. We got Herald, we got first Drake, we just stacked Drake, and I felt like our team fight was just way better in the comp. So if we were not too behind early and we could secure this Herald, which was the most important, I didn't feel like we could lose this game at any moment. And for the Ezreal, I mean, I've seen this thousands of times in solo queue, so yeah, I knew it.
Yeah, anyway, we know you like your solo queues, so then you had time to train on that matter. Earlier in the interview, you were mentioning the fact that it was the first time you're not a rookie. The AD before the game was talking about the LFL in the sense that BDS was playing against some of the Misfits Premier players who've been promoted. And when you look at the game, here we had 8 out of 10 players coming from the LFL. So as a French player coming from the LFL, how proud are you about the success of the region, if I may say?
I mean, I think like the LFL and the French players are, I mean, LFL must evolved a lot since when I played. There it was not really hype when I played LFL, and now it's like the most hype by far ERL, and the best player outside of LEC in Europe are on this league. And I mean, I'm really proud to be French, and when I see like strong community and such great players, and I think we have like really good players, really good environment, and yeah, I'm really happy to see how it's growing, and I'm happy to be a part of this.
Well, I'm happy as well, obviously, and I hope this pride will take you far this year, Vetheo. Merci beaucoup for the interview. Good luck on the second week of the LEC, and we're going to send it back to the analyst desk now for the second game of the day, Excel versus Vitality. Stay tuned.
Viva la France! Yo, chat, you think you're an LEC fan? Do you? I'm loaded on channel points, bro. Ha! I highlight every message because I am just that jacked. Try talking in chat when you can get on my level. Chat, welcome back to the LEC Super Week, where both Team Vitality and Excel are looking for their first win in the season. I've never seen two physical face palms before at the same time.
I don't want to be here.
So, Guldborg, I'll come to you first.
Oh, great.
Let's get serious. Let's talk about Vitality. There were some big improvements from day 1 to day 2.
Have you recovered from this?
Give me 2 seconds, real quick.
That's how a copy pasta works.
That
isn't it?
one. Okay, great. Vitality, day 1.
I didn't tell them that was happening.
Versus day 2. I actually think, despite them losing on day 2 as well, I think that day 1 performance compared to their day 2 performance was day and night. Just because of what we saw in day 1 was just a completely disrespectful team, not only in terms of how they were playing the map, also just in terms of what their game plan was, because it didn't seem like they had any when they came into the game. Now in game 2, that kind of got reversed a little bit, and despite Wunder outplaying them up towards the top side, they still recovered immensely. The fact that you as a team were able to come back from botching a dive that badly, still come up 6.6k is great. Problem then arises once again here in the mid to late game. They only had 1 AP Sword, which was a Twisted Fate, so you're not going to be dealing too much damage. And then combine that with the fact that Fnatic's early game has been a bit shaky. What has not been shaky is still their stellar team fighting.
Yeah, and apart from that, I just want to hit on the Vitality thing that between day 1 and day 2, Selfmade was day and night. Day 2 Selfmade onto that Qiyana. I mean, this guy could potentially put all of his teammates in his backpack and carry them to victory. 91.7% kill participation. Everything came from him.
Where have I seen that before? Selfmade putting his entire team in his backpack, carrying us to victory. But his teammates are Alphari, Perkz, Carzzy.
So that's the weird thing, right? Every time Selfmade plays in a team surrounded by really, really, really good players, it feels that Selfmade goes above and beyond. So here's the question, right? I can't put my head to it, but I'm like, is it the players around him that can't quite reach his level every time they play with him? Or is it Selfmade completely shooting to the stars and playing solo?
We'll find out in just a moment because they are coming up against the other winless team in Excel Esports. Look, Excel have had 2 pretty competitive games, I think, over the last 2 days. Guldborg, what's your take on some of the patterns that you've seen from this team?
I honestly think Excel are coming into the games with good ideas. I think they're one of the teams that are making it more simple. And honestly speaking, their early games really have not been bad. I've been quite impressed with what we've seen from Excel, and this right here you're taking a look at in the B-roll is exactly, it's a stacked wave from the top side by Finn, who's been playing phenomenal, coming into a dive from the rest of his team with the jungle here, Nukeduck setting it up nicely with cancelling out the LeBlanc at the same time. And this is actually a gang pattern that they've been able to replicate multiple times so far. They come up towards the top side, they get themselves an early lead, and they transition themselves quite nicely into the mid game. Now when we then reach the mid game, that's where something in the communication by Excel suddenly just starts to crumble, and they struggle a lot to close out the games despite their ways of getting really good leads into the mid game.
Okay, here's what baffles me. They have managed to pull the same dive, like Guldborg mentioned, over and over again on towards Finn, who's playing weak side back to back. He's playing the Gangplank into the Ornn from day 1 to day 2. If you are going to play topside, at least give him something that he can carry with. This has been like my biggest question mark, because they drafted Jinx Lulu, play for them. They drafted Nami Lucian, play for them. No, it has been the top lane dive over and over again, getting Finn ahead. I think Finn can only do so much on a weak side top lane, especially when it's something like the likes of Ornn. And I would just love to see him play on something that he can carry with, because he has played flawlessly.
So
in these
very
champions.
quickly, of course, this game is going to be important because not only will one of these teams pick up their first win of the season, but BDS just lost to Misfits moments ago. Excel yesterday lost to BDS. Now, where will Excel and Vitality shake up? And this could be the first time we start seeing these teams at the bottom of the table separate. Quick, 1-sentence prediction, who will win and why?
I'm going to have to say Vitality. I think this roster has to bounce back. It will bounce back. If it's going to happen, it's going to have to happen against a team like Excel.
I'm saying Vitality as well. They're on the ramp up, while Excel has just came the same momentum, the same mistakes all the time. So it's this lack of improvement I've seen in the first 2 days that's making me go against Excel.
Well, there we go. Predictions locked in from the analyst desk. We're going to head over to Drakos and Caedrel for the call.
Thank you very much, Quickshot. Excited for this next game, to be completely honest with you, Caedrel. Vitality versus Excel. It's hard not to meme it, I'll be honest, because both teams are 0-2. One team's walking away 0-3. And I don't know who I'm more concerned for, to be completely honest with you. Because let's recap what we talked about on Euphoria. Vitality, everyone knows this, super team. Excel, we kind of expected to hit the ground running because they kept 4 out of 5 of their components that were doing pretty well last summer. And yet both these teams winless as we head into day 3.
Yeah, it's really surprising, isn't it? And I think here it's just such an important game for both teams, just for your mental states, right? If you're Excel and you beat Vitality on day 3 of the Super Week despite losing 2 games, it's a sigh of relief. Okay, well, we were ahead in those 2 games and we threw and we just beat Vitality. We're a pretty good team. If you lose all 3 games, that could break you going into, you know, the late stage of the split. If we had won a single game in this week, we would make playoffs, and we need to make playoffs. Whereas for Vitality, like, if you lose to Excel, who's 0-2, oh boy, you got a lot of work to do for next weekend. So, 2 sides of the coin for both these teams. 2 extremities. One's coming out elated, one's coming out with a sigh of relief. The other is hands on their head. What is going wrong?
This is the thing about an 18-game regular season. The thing about not playing best of 3 is that this Super Week, this first week, is a 1/6 of the games you're going to play in total. Starting off with 3 losses is brutal in the weeks to come. It puts so much more pressure on every single matchup. It's not just top teams that you have to beat, it's bottom teams. You have to beat everybody when you're put behind like this. But now, looking at the draft, we're seeing the Yumis, Diana's banned away, taking Selfmade off some of those assassin junglers. Lee Sin, Twisted Fate, also taken off the board from the side of Vitality.
And I will say, back in my days, when I was on Excel in summer 2020, we started out 0-3 in the Super Week, but we went 8 wins, 10 losses, which makes you playoffs in every other split apart from that one, so we didn't make it. So still we're able to turn it around. I'm sure if this version of Excel can do the same thing, even if they go 0-3 in the Super Week. But anyway, first pick Zhao has come in for Team Vitality. Hey, back in my days. Wow, it's so long ago.
I was going to say that story didn't work out kind of how I thought it would. It felt like it was going to be this uplifting story of, hey, we started 0-3, but we made it work. But it was, we started 0-3 and we didn't make it work.
You know
that
there's
was
no
your
positives
story.
when I talk about my career, there's no real positive ending, is there? You set yourself up for that one.
Bro, I'll say, not to get too sappy, we found each other in the end.
Yeah, we
just
did.
Like...
You know, the universe always makes it work out, huh? We're here now. We're here together. But Vitality have paired together Jinx and Viego. AD jungle picked up. XL have their jungler. Maybe full bot lane here for XL. Could match it with an Aphelios into the Jinx. Jhin, Leona also, I keep saying Jhin, Leona in these EU drafts, but no one really picks it, but it's more of an LPL thing. They just love Jhin, Leona 1-2, 2-3 on blue side. There's the Jayce pickup for Finn. Maybe we'll see the Leona, one piece of the puzzle, as Nukeduck's going to tease us with some hovers.
I would love to see a Bard, personally, as a Bard connoisseur. 2 champions I love, the Bard and the Aphelios. But as you highlighted, we already have some good scaling on the side of Team Vitality. Excited to see what they can do with it.
Wait,
now.
Echo hover? Wait, that's Jinx, Jayce, and Echo from my favorite team. Never mind. Rakan picked up. Wonder if Vitality are going to pick in a Nautilus here for the lane, or if they want to go for Thresh. There it is. Thresh locked in.
Thresh relative safety, that's pretty much ensured late game scaling options when you got a Thresh and a Jinx together, that extra level protective layer. Not a Lulu, but a little bit more utility that you can't get from the Thresh, especially into the Rakan, the Flay. Going to be very handy for that laning phase. See what Advienne can do if he can put his playmaker shoes on when he's picking up this Rakan. Obviously a champion that we've seen have very high impact, and a champion that we've seen also some lackluster performances on. But Team Vitality, giving that respect over to the side of Excel, banning away the Jhin. And for Excel, I'm just curious to see how they approach this draft, Caedrel, because their game yesterday, they got to mid-late game, they were doing all right, they had so many good scaling tools, and it fell apart anyway. So sweating a little bit for them today and see how they stack up against Vitality. And, well, for now, they're trying to set Finn up for success by banning away the Malphite.
Look, there they are. The Jhin Rakan. Rakan's there, and it's picked for Excel, but Jhin got banned away. Oh my god, scripted. Malphite ban, of course. Alphari picking Malphite. If Patrik picks 80 carry, 380 damage would be brutal. Corki banned away from Vitality, but you're completely right. The desk highlighted it. You could see the stats. XL ahead in gold at 14. They have really high tower control, first, second, high herald control. So they're getting good early games, but not really transitioning into wins. They're not exploding the Nexus, of course. Both these teams 0-2. Final ban coming in here. Maybe some kind of Wukong ban. Could be good. GP taken away from Alphari.
Respect over to him. Obviously a lot of global potential impact with that GP. Obnoxious level 1 as well. That GP passive does a lot of work. Finn was able to put it to good use against Broken Blade in Excel's first game. Vitality now debating what they want to go for. Do need a little bit of magic damage on this composition, and it might have to come from the last pick if they do opt to lock in the Wukong here.
Yeah, I think Wukong was a better ban there instead of the GP. Will do work in team fights alongside the Jinx. But still, XL will be able to answer with mid and AD carry here. They could swap it up and go for a Ziggs AD carry, but doesn't pair so well with the Rakan. So I'm expecting an AD champ here. Just better into the Wukong. They could play Syndra bot, but it looks like LeBlanc will be the pick for Nukeduck. Very good pick into Viego Wukong. Makes their lives very difficult, but Perkz can answer this LeBlanc with things like, you know, Lissandra, Ryze, Sylas might even come out.
Sure. Vex as well, I want to highlight. I haven't been
Vex.
super impressed by what she's shown in the LEC so far, but that's 4 champions with dashes in their kit. The Jayce Q, of course, when I'm referring to in his case, that will proc those marks, reset that passive pretty quickly, can disrupt a lot of the potential engage here. Would love to see a Samira, just generally, because we saw a lot in the LCK today and it seemed pretty impactful. Instead, it looks like we're going to have the Lovers duo, and I like it. Some good safety now for the Xayah, some good self-protection tools, as it looks like most of Excel is going to want to be diving in.
Yeah, the LeBlanc should be able to deal with the Wukong pretty handily in fights. The Xayah can self-peel. Jayce is a poke tool. Expecting XL to play hard for top size, as they always do, diving top. And there we might get the Vex from Perkz. We've had the Akshan. He's been playing all the Season 12 champions. Maybe we'll get another one, as Vex is locked in into all those Dash champions.
There it is. I'm ready. This is another champion where I have read the passive and am ready to talk about how her mechanics and her kit works, Caedrel. Brace yourself. The color points are coming.
Camera in mid lane.
Let's talk about it. Let's keep an eye on it. Of course, this matchup, we did see Larson play this matchup, struggled a ton in the early game, but after weathering the storm, was still able to have huge impact on the LeBlanc side of this matchup. See if Nukeduck can do the same. But for now, keeping our eyes on the early game so you can make a bigger impact. Lots of scaling, lots of good team fighting tools for the side of Team Vitality Excel. A lot of powerful picks.
Yeah, I feel like Vitality have got really good answers to XL. You pick Jayce, we go Wukong, we can deal with it. You pick LeBlanc, we go Vex, we can deal with it. The Jinx Thresh is always a safe scaling lane, and Viego Selfmade will be playing on his own, trying to find resets. Whereas XL kind of have to play topside and have Xayah Rakan for team fights. I kind of favor Vitality's draft going into this, but XL have always seemed to win out in the early games.
Certainly have. Time to see if they can rinse and repeat as we get ready for our second game of the day. It's time for XL versus Vitality. In a second. Now. Here we are on to the Rift, and already you can see a little bit of contesting here down on the top side. Vitality sniffed it out, though. Are going to lay down a little bit of vision. Of course, important for the Wukong to be able to hide in the brush at level 1. Very big against the Jayce in the range matchup.
No, they're just going to check the push. Yeah, and just got told that this is Alphari's first ever competitive Wukong game. Does tend towards Jayce, tend towards GP and things like this, but this time around it's going to be the Wukong.
Yeah, that's bananas. For Vitality.
Drakos.
Excited to what?
No,
I was just going to keep going. I was going to pretend like that wasn't the worst joke I've ever made.
Keep going. I just
That's
picked
fine.
up the name by saying your name.
Okay. Thank you.
Perkz Ignite.
Perkz Ignite. And we've got an Airy on the bottom side for Patrik. Caedrel, I'm not sure if this is a solo queue special for Xayah. I actually haven't seen a ton of Xayah. Do you have any read into that one?
I believe the Airy build comes from sort of like a poke Xayah with a little bit of lethality. We'll see what Patrik builds towards. But that rune does indicate a little bit of poke Xayah. I think there was some changes to it, or it fell off. I remember seeing this kind of poke Xayah patch happening. I'm not sure if that's still a thing, but we'll see what Patrik builds.
Yeah. You can see good damage coming in here for Perkz. The bar on the bottom there is going to be the charging up of the passive, the Doom portion, which is the fearing on the next ability. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, trading back and forth here. Difficult for Advienne at level 1. Thresh level 1, very powerful in lane. Rakan level 1, a little underwhelming, but can poke a little bit with the Gleaming Quill if that's what he's opted to start, or just threaten for the all-in. Flay now coming back. It looks like he opted for the Battle Dance instead, so he's going to be able to shield Patrik at least a little bit in this exchange as Labrov and Carzzy take full control of the wave here. Patrik with the Airy, though, is firing back pretty well.
Yeah, allows Carzzy to walk up when Rakan shows what spell he has. I think most Rakans in lane try to hide what spell they've started. And just going back to this mid matchup, Perkz versus Nukeduck, I feel like these are the two most veteran mid laners we have in our league going up against each other. Perkz did have his retirement for a year, but he's back. And I think these are the two mid laners with probably the most games in our league.
Yeah, and I think that it's interesting that these two play, anytime these two play against each other, I'm pretty excited. We've seen some pretty iconic matches between them historically, but as well, checking some trading in the top side, we've also seen Perkz be one of the people who's always kind of talked about how much of a threat Nukeduck is and how much Nukeduck is a top mid laner. Even in those years where he wasn't getting maybe the respect as a top 3 mid laner, Perkz has always said that he's a big threat in scrims and a player that he respected. So a matchup I'm always pleased to watch, and Perkz with the counter pick, have to see what he can do. For now, very even in the mid lane.
Yeah, Finn was forced to flash there. We didn't see it on screen, but I think Selfmade went up towards the top side and ganked him. Must have had to flash away. Markoon is going to get the top crab. Information over to XL as to where Selfmade is, and Markoon's going to spot out his Raptors are up. Maybe he wants to take them away.
Does have an opportunity. Looks like he'll have the time as well, so well played. Small advantages will start to add up for now, though. Dead even game, really. The flash on the top side for Finn, the only big discrepancy on the side of Excel. And Excel on the bottom side have balanced out this lane, at least got through those first few difficult levels. And while Carzzy is getting a free little bit of poke, Hook will not connect, and it means that Vitality are still going to lose out on that trade.
Yeah, very close on the trades there. Hook misses, Rakan W misses. Finn trading aggressively onto Wukong and to Alphari in this matchup. I mean, Jayce does need to play aggressive to get some kind of lead in this matchup, because at level 6 it's a horror for the Jayce. Similar to the Sion, just the Wukong has more damage. And I think the biggest problem for Vitality right now is Perkz is in lane with no potions left because he's playing with Ignite. And Nukeduck just based, picked up a Doran's Ring and has full potions up. So with this wave, I feel like he's going to have to call his jungler soon to get a base off. But that's not the biggest of problems. I'm sure they'll find a way to dissect that.
And Nukeduck playing with a ton of confidence in this matchup. It is a lot about pulling the trigger at the right time. When you are Perkz, you have the W, which when you have the fear, functions like a Lysandra Ring of Frost. It's that instantaneous fear. But if you throw it out a little bit early, if you jump the gun on the trigger, LeBlanc just gets free damage, can just poke you out and wait for your next passive to come up. As we see a bit of trading here on the top side. Alphari getting frisky there, trying to maximize the value of the Wukong passive, but Finn not afraid to keep trading.
Selfmade on the bot side of the map. Finn has a little bit of vision to work with. 2 wards on the entrance, red on Vitality's side of the jungle, and a pink in the river, so he can play a little bit up. Problem is he's running out of potions. Alphari has a refillable and will regen pretty handily, so Finn's going to be the one who has to back away. And again, at level 6, this is only going to get worse. Finn, of course,
there's also, sorry to interrupt, there's also a flash discrepancy. So Finn feels like he's dead to rights if he stays anywhere other than under that tower once Alphari hits level 6.
Definitely is, and feels like Finn doesn't really have a big CS lead or has a plate on his belt to merit some kind of gold advantage. Selfmade behind Nukeduck here. Might look for a stun if Nukeduck jumps forwards. Perkz will have to fear soon. There it is. Ready to go.
Very available. Gonna throw it out. He's gonna go wide. It opens up the opportunity for Nukeduck to just keep trading, but they have to be careful. At this point, Nukeduck could just one-shot Perkz even as Selfmade comes in.
Is Perkz on a base on this wave? It would be an absolute disaster to lose such a massive wave. See if Selfmade wants to dive top. No, Perkz is going to cancel his base, but Nukeduck can find the kill. He cancels his base for 1 creep. Now he's forced back to his tier 2. Selfmade went towards top, and now Markoon can start to pressure Selfmade.
Advienne could engage on the bottom side. Instant follow-up now coming in for Patrik. Carzzy taking a ton of damage. One more auto ought to do it so low, and first blood for the Excel bottom lane.
2v2 kill, baby. We expected the strongest point of this map of this XL roster to be Patrik. Advienne showing up with the engage. Instant cleanse from the Chompers to make sure he can chase down Carzzy. I'm pretty sure Carzzy realized if he flashes, he's going to die anyway. Better to save it up against Markoon here on the Zhao, who will find the gank later on. Knock-up hits. Patrik with the Q auto-attack route comes in with the E. Chompers are thrown down. Hook is blocked by Advienne. Instant cleanse. If Carzzy flashes here, he won't live. Patrik will flash after it. What happens if he does flash and die? Well, then he's laning against a Xayah Rakan, level 6, and a jungler with flash up, right? So there's a chance there he can die again. So saving the flash, slight wise there for sure, but dying, obviously not the best situation. Patrik might be building towards an Eclipse here with that serrated Dirk.
This is the Eclipse into the Muramana build, which is huge E damage. So that's going to be the spell you need to keep your eyes on. The Feather pullback going to hit like a truck if he does get some purchase with that one. Perkz in the mid lane could be in trouble here. 3 members of Excel in the area, and Nukeduck, well, he does not connect on the chains. Pretty big individual lead, about 10 CS up because Perkz had to take that untimely recall. So bot lane, mid lane for the side of Excel doing pretty well. Top lane is rough. Yes, Finn is not at too much of a discrepancy, but he is laning against a Wukong, a lane where normally you expect the Jayce to get off to a little bit of a bigger lead early on.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem for Perkz in this lane is he took Ignite. Now that will pay its dividends later on in skirmishes and teamfights, but for now, the lane phase Nukeduck can accrue his own advantage in XP, and in creeps will be roughly a 10 CS lead after that wave gets caught by Nukeduck. So on the back foot here, Perkz, but the Ignite will help out in the skirmishes, of course, and just like you said, the E damage from the Xayah will be so much. The Q damage, the E damage, almost like a poke-ish Xayah full lethality will be coming out here from Patrik.
And this is where I'm rewarded for playing ARAM, because I'm ready for the full creep lethality builds, Caedrel. I've seen it. If you haven't experienced it, you're going to be living in hell. If you get slowed or knocked up by the Rakan, you will die in 2 autos and an E from the Xayah. So brace yourself, solo queue fans. You've already got a Singed floating around. If you haven't seen the lethality Xayah yet, you might after this game. Solo queue is going to be a dark place full of terrors for everybody tonight.
Oh, definitely is, and it feels like the Xayah E just catches you off guard so much. You expect the auto attacks to be the damage, and when that E hits you for upwards of 600-700 damage and instantly takes you out, it's something. It definitely is something, but for now, Selfmade gonna trade Herald for Drake. A lot of damage in the game here in League of Legends in Season 12. A lot of damage from everyone.
Absolutely, and a lot of squishy members in this game. It feels like the tankiest member we might see is a Zhao or a Wukong. So execution, landing your combos is going to be the big deal here. Pressure on Nukeduck to connect on those chains, and Labrov coming up just to support Perkz, just to help him push in the mid lane. Again, not having that TP means he's going to need a little support to not lose too much in this lane.
Yeah, Patrik hitting onto bot tower. He knows Selfmade was top. His support was hovering around. Labrov was up towards the top side as well. Small CS lead accruing in bot. 2 plates as well. So Markoon probably going to hover down there. We'll see how Selfmade uses the Herald, because Finn is probably the most vulnerable point of the map right now. Nukeduck's winning mid, always safe with his dashes. Bot's winning for Excel, full sums up with Xayah Rakan. What's the weak one on the map? It's the Jayce into Wukong. Slightly down in XP right now, Finn in this matchup. And quite easy to dive if Alphari can stack a wave and Selfmade is around. Finn actually took his team's blue buff. I wonder if that was intentional. Didn't actually see that on screen, but still, will help him with the poke.
Yeah. Difficult situation, certainly we saw here at Fall Behind to a much greater degree in the previous game. Unlike the previous game, however, Finn is falling behind against a Wukong, a champion who has much more reliable output in fights and skirmishes, a much bigger threat to the backline than Adam Sion was. That said, Finn, a few items under his belt, still can be a very big threat to the squishy members on the side of Vitality, but it is just going to keep getting worse, as you can see Alphari fully pushing in without any fear of Finn whatsoever.
A little bit of contested bot side. Labrov wants to get deep vision on that tri-bush. A little bit of pushback coming in. Patrik has finished his mythic item, has the Eclipse ready, so expect a lot of burst. Alphari finds Finn.
Knockup going to be there as the second stock as well. Flash forward, knockup again. Finn not going to get anything done. Can't even finish the combo as Alphari just walks away.
Oh, it's a disaster. This matchup, you need the Jayce to be ahead at 10 minutes at least, because the Wukong is the one that scales better and takes over fights and wins at 2 items on side lane. But now it's the Wukong that's up 20 CS. It's the Wukong that gets the solo kill, and it might be the Wukong that gets the TP advantage, as now we see the Herald go towards mid to give Perkz a little bit of gold. Has recovered that CS deficit a little bit as well. Herald crashes, 1 plate over to Perkz, and now Markoon down towards the bot side. Let's see what Excel can get done here.
Excel feels like they have to get something done. Yes, they did get the first dragon, but they gave up the Herald on top side because they had no pressure there. They lost the solo kill. Herald dropping mid gives Perkz a bunch more gold, and this is the thing. Yes, Vitality falling behind in bot lane, falling behind in mid lane, but that single power point for them on the top side has gained them so much. But it could turn now. The hook coming out into Advienne. He should be fine. No real tools to follow up here as we see a bit more trading in mid.
Yeah, Carzzy's chompers were on cooldown. He used them as the Rakan walked up the tower around 10 seconds before this play. So if he had chompers there, maybe Advienne would have to flash. Obviously chompers, auto-attack, rocket. With the ignite, he would have died. On cooldown, no follow-up. Finn has a little bit of top push. And look at Alphari's items. Yes, he doesn't have a mythic, but those plated steel caps are going to pay so much dividend in this lane itself, especially when their jungler is a Xin Zhao. The only real threat to Alphari is Nukeduck. We'll see if they want to try to mismatch the lanes or something, because Finn is going to struggle so much.
Certainly is. Good news, of course, for Excel, again, highlighting the summer spell discrepancy. Perkz a little bit more power in the team fights. Nukeduck a little bit easier for him to show up for those team fights, especially when Unleashed Teleport becomes up and available. Finn in trouble again. He walks right back into the stun. A solid read from Selfmade. The reset coming out, and Vitality obliterating the Excel top side of the map.
Yeah, they're really targeting Excel's weak point, and Excel aren't really able to either cover their weak point or snowball their strong sides. Patrik will have a lot of damage onto Carzzy here if he gets a pullback. Only gets 1 of the feathers, though. Yeah, Excel haven't found a bot dive to get Patrik ahead despite this perma push. They haven't found a kill onto Perkz despite Nukeduck winning on the lane. And they have not defended Finn on this almost like weak side ever since he lost his flash, and Alphari's been winning out on the trades. Now this Wukong, an assist, 3 plates. Oh, it's going to be horrible for Excel the later this game goes. I think Finn will need some resources soon.
Yeah. And we were excited about Excel a little bit when we saw how promising some of their early games had been. This will not be one of those early games. Dead even right now, a kill advantage going over to side. Yes, they have the Dragon, but depending on who is in the fight, things can be very dire. As long as they avoid the Wukong, as long as they leverage their strong Xayah, their strong LeBlanc, Excel can come out on top in these skirmishes. But a full-on 5v5, Alphari is going to be a true terror, especially as he gets closer to level 11. And when he finishes that Mythic, I just think it's going to be pretty unlaneable for Finn.
Yeah, the good news for Excel is Patrik just got 4 plates on bot, but Alphari might be able to kill Finn here again. I think Finn realizes something is up, something's a bit sussy here. He might think that there's a Wukong in that bush, so he's catching the wave and pushing. Oh no, he went forwards.
Oh no, he wanted the cannon. It's a bait as old as time. Alphari will get a movement speed steroid as he ults here. He's waiting. He's trying to get the initial knock up. Rooter there. Finn will be able to walk away and does get a little bit of push in the lane, so not the worst. But in the meantime, on the bottom side, Carzzy's been able to get a plate back. Has to be careful here. Labrov, you can see already backing off. His only job is to lay down the lantern here, but here comes Advienne. Now the flash through the flay. It's too clean from the side of Advienne. Carzzy now locked up, set to be knocked down. The Dragon taken by Vitality, but the kill will go to Excel.
Beautiful mechanics from Advienne. He doesn't even use the W because he knows the Chompers can cancel it, the Flay can cancel it. Carzzy could even flash the W. So instead, he just ults, runs at them, flashes, hits the charm, and saves his W in case Carzzy wants to flash away. Carzzy realized it. Maybe Vitality can find something back here. Advienne, no flash. Patrik has no ult either.
Play still going. Cleanse is still up for Patrik. That's going to be the TP now coming in. Perkz into the middle of everyone. A 3-man fear. The entire team retreating. Markoon stepping forward to body block, but has to be careful because here comes Alphari. He's ticking, he's burning, but he will not drop. Excel walking away okay in the end.
Oh, it's a bit of a disaster play there for Vitality. They really needed a kill on the back half of that fight because now Finn gets a little bit of room to breathe. He can start hitting this top tier one. Nukeduck gets a free base. They need to find something. Alphari staying around. And Finn gonna get a lot of creeps, a lot of damage onto this tower. Still 2 levels down. Second game in a row we see as he levels up. Jayce is naturally behind the lanes that get counterpicked. Nukeduck finds Carzzy, he has flash up.
So much damage coming out there. Hard for Carzzy to stay in that lane. The second Nukeduck's rotation is up again. Carzzy is going to need to get out. Only level 9 on Carzzy to the level 11 of Nukeduck. He's going to be forced to walk away completely. Nukeduck should be free to push in this wave. We'll see what he does with that pressure as Alphari's now moved down to the bottom side. And while Patrik should be okay as he does have the flash up, you have to be careful when that ulti comes off cooldown because Alphari's flash is going to be there too.
Yeah, so many towers are low HP right now. Look at top towers. Both sides, tower is super low. Bot tower is so low as well. And both teams are looking for first tower gold. I think Excel are going to play for this bot tier 1, looking at where their jungle support are. Nukeduck up a little bit in CS now because Perkz went for that bot roam. Finn has recovered slightly in this top matchup because of the TP. But Excel will need a bit more. Gold in their favor, but XP is not. And game state slightly in Vitality's favor. Excel's strong side is bot lane.
Bringing down Advienne. Alphari's strong and he's got a lot of tools to mitigate physical damage, but not strong enough to stand against 3 members, especially with the tower that low, so he will just back off here. He's going to go in for a bit of a trade. You can see there on the minimap. We'll walk away with the use of that clone. A Selfmade going to take the second Herald of the game. Again, top side, Alphari, Selfmade together have generated such a massive advantage to keep Vitality in this game. But at the end of the day, Excel have fought back in these exchanges. It's 1 Drake to 1. Excel currently with a tower advantage and a 1k gold lead.
Yeah, a lot of standing gold on the map for Vitality though. This top tier 1 should fall now. A little bit of gold in their pockets. Herald in Selfmade's pocket as well will be used mid soon, you'd expect. And they should recover that gold deficit. Carzzy is the one who's behind on Vitality. Of course, Finn is behind on Excel. Now it's just a waiting game where both teams will swap sides. Eventually what you'll see happen is Excel will now go towards the mid-top side and Vitality will go towards bot side because neither team is really matching each other and they're just going to keep cross-mapping tier 1s. Nukeduck will catch bot wave, has TP coming up soon. Excel will play for this top tier 1.
Nukeduck walking down to the bottom side. Trying to punish
Alphari.
Alphari. A lot of tools to mitigate the potential damage. Hovering around near the recall point there for the distortion. Nukeduck now going to leap away.
Wow.
Strong Wukong.
Yeah, that Wukong does a lot of damage. Nukeduck, if he hit the chain there, would have been able to get the kill. But now Alphari sneaking in the bush. Not sure if he can find a kill onto Nukeduck, who has built the Liandry's. And just want to hammer home the importance of this game, just for mentality. Coming out of a super week, hang on, Patrik is going to flash away. Yeah, Excel going 0-3 in their first week is horrible for their chances at playoffs later down the line. Vitality, the super team in Europe, if they lose to a team like Excel, and if they are already 0-3 coming out of week 1 as a team who's supposed to be favorites to win the split, It's just the mental state, you know, it's just a horrible weekend for either one of these teams, or a sigh of relief for one of these teams. 1 minute on the Dragon. Both teams have 1 Dragon each.
Caedrel, I think it's such a good point, because at the end of the day, it's 3 best of 1s, it's 1 week of games, but if this drags down your mentality, if this drags down your focus in the weeks to come, it can cost you a lot more than just 3 games. So something we have to track, something we have to keep our eyes on in the weeks to come. Single win, a nice consolation prize, and an otherwise difficult week is Excel pushing in on the bottom side. They've got a wave pushing bot, they've got Patrik pushing mid. They'll take away the enemy blue buff. Hook is going to land onto Advienne. The chain CC is there. He's locked up and taken down. Tries to leap away, but that last rocket going to finish the job.
Yeah, really big pick there from Vitality, because Dragon spawning in 30 seconds. They have Herald to get some tempo in mid. Alphari's pushing top. They have so many options right now. They can go mid to top and get tier 1 mid and tier 2 top if they want, or they can play for this Dragon. Alphari has TP. Finn needs to base and catch top wave. Otherwise, Alphari might get this tower uncontested.
Coming over the wall, Selfmade going to move into the Lantern. It's clean, but the knockback there from Finn, it looks like, denies that. Selfmade still trying to retreat here. TP now coming in. Alphari stepping forward. This should be pretty easy for him to continue to push forward onto Markoon. Markoon holding onto the ultimate for now. Will not knock back the real Alphari. The push still coming in. Carzzy not going to be able to throw any damage to that ultimate quite yet. It's a bit of a messy exchange overall. Nukeduck still in the area. The big threat that you have to keep your eyes on is Vitality will look to start this Dragon.
Can they get the Dragon? I feel like Vitality are gas. They don't have any tempo mid or top anymore. They used a lot of ultimates to try and find the collapse. TP used as well. Markoon has flash. He might have to use it here.
Oh. Almost flashed in the ult there.
Yeah, I was worried for a second there that if he went a couple more meters forwards, it was going to hit. But now Excel have full control of Dragon, despite Vitality getting a pick, despite Vitality TPing in and using all their ultimates. Excel are the ones who get the Dragon.
Working out well in the end, it has to be said. 2 Dragons not bad to have. Infernal, very important for both these teams when they're so reliant on their burst damage. And Advienne, you can see, getting caught out here, very close to escaping, but this time around the Chompers are up for Carzzy, and it makes it a pretty easy pickup.
Yeah, the last rocket comes in, bang, takes him down. And then Vitality have so much map control. Herald mid, top pushing, but they kind of lost it all. They did get a mid tower in the end, but traded off for a Drake. And Patrik farming up to be a monster on this Xayah. It's a very odd build to see on a Xayah, isn't it? Lucidity boots, mana immune, cooldown reduction, but it is an airy poke Xayah. And like you said, it's the E where the most of the damage comes from.
Yeah, I imagine we're going to see Essence Reaver next, again, just maximizing the burst damage as much as humanly possible, and only a few spells away from stacking up fully the Muramana. So big damage to come in the fights. Carzzy, if he gets auto attack, 10 times, he's going to out-damage the Xayah, certainly. But if Patrik only gets 1 or 2 autos, he's going to be topping the charts in terms of DPS on that feather pullback.
Yeah, just looking at levels again. Alphari up 2 levels, Selfmade up a level, but the rest of the map in favor of Excel. Still, Nukeduck and Patrik have kept those advantages. Now it's just a trade-off for mid-push.
Engage coming in, trying to fish for the support. Easy, quick kill pickup. Labrov taken out before the fight even breaks out. Perkz locked up by Advienne. Advienne needs to make his way back out of the fight. Rocket's going to go a little bit wide. Advienne dodging away from that one, ticking down from the red spike. Patrik forced to ult a little bit early. Here comes Alphari. The potential for turn is there. Big damage back onto Selfmade, though. Debating his options. Vitality walking away. A single pick onto Labrov. The only thing Excel will get, but Vitality get nothing in response.
Yeah, you could see Alphari was really thinking about it. Patrik, no ult, no flash, and he has flash of his own, but I think if he commits, it's going to be a 1-for-1 at best. Trying to contest this red buff now. Markoon and Finn are around. Nukeduck doesn't have TP, though.
Ulti coming in. Selfmade playing with fire here, just dies. Definitely not the play he was looking for. Now Alphari's going to be in trouble. Perkz coming over the wall, tries to turn it, but Patrik still running forward. Big damage coming in from the Xayah, and that is definitely not what Vitality wanted.
Massive play for Excel. The question is, what can they get for this? 30-second death time was on the side of Vitality. They can't get Baron. Maybe they can force this mid tower. Look at the damage coming out from Patrik. That was hardly a feather, and now Carzzy's forced back. Nukeduck's pushing in top. I believe he's going to collapse towards mid now or try to hit this top tier 2. They need to get some objectives off of this, unlock the map a bit more. Big mistake from the top side of Vitality. Overextending in Excel's jungle gets punished.
Ready to look at that replay and potentially see what Selfmade saw. I'm not sure if he thought he was going to isolate the Xin or what was going through his head, but with perfect information from our perspective, that just looked bad. This is, of course, going to be the earlier replay, however, where they are able to find the pick on the Labrov.
Yeah, really good decisiveness from Advienne. Massive props and massive credit to him. Does dodge away from the rocket last second as well. In and out, job done, get the kill. And now this is where Vitality, Alphari was thinking about going in. Patrik, no flash, no ult, drops the blue orb. Well, could be a 1-for-1. And then they think, well, all their tempo's topside. Let's go get their red buff. Come, let's go get it. We can push mid. It's a free red buff. Markoon shows up. Finn's around. Selfmade thinks he's alone, goes for the kill, then realizes Finn's there, flashes away and dies. And now Alphari tries to commit to get the kill to make it 1-for-1. Perkz joins the fight, but Patrik just cleans house.
Absolutely. Easy lineup, easy setup now. Gonna burn down the Ignite there. Finn just barely able to live. But such a difficult situation, because remember, Finn's lane phase was miserable, but now he's that 2-item Jayce. A very similar story to what we saw last game with Hear It. He is a threat. He does a lot of burst damage, and Selfmade clearly not respecting that in the exchange, paired with the backup that he does have. And honestly, right now, Excel gifted a big advantage by the over-aggression coming in from the side of Vitality. And while it is good on Excel to punish that, Vitality are going to be really frustrated with that one. It has been a weekend full of questionable plays, to be honest. Alphari, though, fishing for a solo kill and a bit of redemption. Should be able to lock down Finn, but Finn holding his own pretty well at this point.
Xayah Rakan on the way. Alphari might be the one who's actually caught in the end. Patrick's collapsing. Markoon's over the
damage. Nowhere for him to really go. Just Finn now on a killing spree from 0-2 to 3-2. Excel dominating across the map now with a 3k gold lead. A minute till the next Drake. They'll be set up to take that one as they push in on the bottom side, and suddenly Excel in total control of this game.
Yeah, Finn had no flash, so Alphari thought he found the window. A little bit of a desperation play coming out. Just look at the cross the board. Finn is now back in the game. Patrick's running away with the game. Perkz is so far behind Nukeduck. Selfmade might get one shot here.
Going in, Nukeduck taking his time. Unstoppable Viego. Nukeduck playing on the edge there.
Check LeBlancs, Drakos, and let me tell you, most of the time they end up dead. I guess Nukeduck needs a little bit more items for that.
Certainly, I mean, he's 1.5 is what he's sitting on right now. Probably wants a bit more time in that Shadow Flame to be fully competed, but I'm expecting potentially an Essence Reaver. Instead it's the Sereldas, so the Q there is going to slow reliably. Very long-range skill on the double daggers, and it means it's so easy now for Patrik to peel for himself, and again, for Excel to shred through Alphari and some of that tankiness that he does bring to the table.
Definitely will. 2 Sereldas picked up, and props to Excel. Even if they don't win this game, the only thing I want to say is every single game they played, they've been ahead. They've dictated the early game, they've dictated the mid game, they brought it to G2, they're bringing it to Vitality. The question is, can they close the game? They've been in this kind of state before, with good scaling, with advantages on Patrik especially. The question is, can they close out the game? Because the mental side is, if you beat Vitality, you can say, well, we put up a fight mano a mano against G2, we were winning the game, we just took down Vitality with a clean snowboard lead. We are pretty good, but if you lose this game as well, you feel like nothing's really working in your mid to late game. So I think very important game for both sides. And if Vitality loses, again, a 0-3 start to a super week for a super team.
It's almost unthinkable given how much hype there was, including from us, around this new Vitality lineup. I think everyone expected this team to hit the ground running, and we always talked about the potential for them to explode, but this doesn't feel like explosions, it just feels like sloppy play from the side of Vitality, catching us a little bit off guard.
I wouldn't even say sloppy play. It just feels like Excel have been dictating the game from start to finish. Vitality found small windows in top, but from the early game onwards, bot and mid have just been winning flat out from Excel. Nukeduck accruing advantages individually.
Sure.
Patrik and Advienne 2v2 kill. Constant bot push. And Markoon just, yes, he maybe could have been a bit towards the top side more, but he's been securing Drake, so quick, easy, simple, winning lanes, get early dragons, stack them up, and collapse on Vitality's mistakes, which they've been making over side lanes. And in the jungle, of course.
Yeah, and I think it's so massive for Excel, again, because their history is not one of success. And while we can talk about the things that they would love to say, you know, if they're holding their own against G2, ultimately wins are really what matters for Excel. They need playoffs. There are so many teams that can focus on, hey, we want to make top 4, we want to make top 5. Excel just need to make playoffs. They have been so close so many times. You've been a part of those rosters, not to meme it, but this is the thing that matters now. It's not just about improvement, it's about getting wins on the board as much as humanly possible.
Yeah, and Excel have a very clear game plan here. You can see they're not really pushing past the river, going for tier 2s, trying to get any deep vision because they realize there's a timer and it's ticking. 3 minutes 04 right now until the Infernal Soul. Vitality have to fight them there, and they have really good poke if you think about it. Xayah with this build, really good poke from long range with QE. Jayce is very strong now, will have the Sereldas soon built up, a lot of poke. And the LeBlanc can always dash forwards and chunk someone out. We've seen what LeBlancs can do to Carzzy in particular. Absolutely one-shot them. We saw Humanoid do the same thing. We'll see if Nukeduck can do it here in this game. Also playing somewhat of a CDR LeBlanc here with the Lucidity Boots.
Yeah, no Ludens means a little bit less immediate upfront burst damage, but will do a lot more damage to the likes of Alphari and Selfmade, playing a bit more just poking in and out. You can see Nukeduck on the top side pushing in 50 CS advantage for him over Perkz. Clearly the one who gets to decide the pace and the rate at which they trade, as Perkz is just forced to wait and be responsive with the Doom passive on the Vex. And Excel, good job pushing their vision line forward here on the top side. They've got Finn pushing in bot lane, and they are setting up for a Baron soon.
Pick, found
that
Patrik.
Patrik. Good use the ultimate, can't just back away. Vitality getting those small cooldowns, getting the TP critically from Nukeduck there is going to be big in the moments to come.
These are the small things Excel need to make sure they avoid making mistakes, avoid stepping up too far and getting caught. Vitality, the ones who are under pressure right now, they realize they're going to lose a soul. They're the ones who have to find a pick. They found Finn, Selfmade, gets another flash.
Forward. And again, small advantage is very big. What we have to keep our eyes on is the Baron. 27 minutes in, it's a very viable objective for either side if they get the opportunity. But similarly, in 1 minute and 38 seconds now, Infernal Soul will be up. Vitality cannot let that go over to anyone on the side of Excel.
Vitality, 1 minute 30 seconds on it. They have vision towards the bot side, which will help. I think that ward that Labrov just put over the Dragon Pit could be a good TP ward for Alphari. Across the Dragon Pit, he might look for it, but they make sure the XL need to make sure they sweep out all that bot side vision. And Vitality, you can't be the team that tries to dictate the pace of the game by saying, well, if XL goes to Dragon, we're going to go to Baron. Because first of all, you're way too far behind to do that. You don't have the vision to. And second of all, Infernal Soul will last throughout the entire game, and there's not that much standing gold on the map for Vitality other than a bot tier 1 that they might be able to push for. Because Patrik is 3 levels up on Carzzy right now. 3 levels up in 28 minutes.
There's a point somewhere down the line at 6 items where Carzzy's going to feel good, he's going to have a big range advantage, he's going to feel okay. But that point is very, very far away. Level 16 Xayah, 3.5 items in a lethality build, or at least an armor penetration build. She will shred through anyone, Carzzy included. Very, very terrifying target, and the ulti coming back off cooldown, the flash still being available means that if Vitality pick their moment wrong, if they dive into this Xayah, if she ults, she lays down all those feathers and brings them back, their entire dive strategy is just going to get eviscerated.
Okay, now Vitality, 18 seconds on the Dragon. There's a lot of poke from XL. They need to push down mid and find a way into the Dragon Pit. The longest and most amount of space to work with is through the river from mid. Going through a choke around the jungle would be poor. Stacking up against poke would be dangerous, but they still need to find their way in. They're going to go through XL's jungle. There's the poke hitting onto Vitality. TP is on that ward there. Alphari has a flank.
Go in, needs to fish for Patrik, needs to get some summoner spells down, but he's all alone on the backside. Patrik holding on the ultimate for now, knows that he does not need it. Alphari goes golden, he'll get a chance to reset, but that's the charm now coming in. Patrik on a rampage as he shreds through the Thresh, goes golden. Now Selfmade has to run for the hills. Advienne still standing. Excel now set up to take the Infernal Soul. Vitality can fish for a miracle steal here. Excel taking their time again, pulling it out, not wanting to risk anything. It's clean from the side of Excel.
Yeah, Perkz in base, Selfmade in base, Alphari recalling. Vitality realized we're getting poked out here. Alphari saw the shock blast, hit 3 of his teammates and said, damn, if we get hit by another one, the fight's already over, so I may as well just go in, pull the trigger and see what happens. He went in 1v5, Exhaust came out, stopwatch bought some time. But Labrov gets sniped off by Patrik's poke. Selfmade barely gets out on 1 HP, and Alphari's dead before they can even arrive. So the shock blast hits 3 men. Alphari says, yeah, if that hits again, fight's already over. Let's just go in. We don't have follow-up, but maybe I can buy the time for my team to collapse as they're coming in. Watch Labrov's health bar here from Patrik. QE, he's dead. He didn't even hit a hook, he just walked up, he's gone. Lights out. Advienne lives with the stopwatch, dodges away after the rocket hits him. Selfmade can't fight anymore, and Vitality have to back off.
And the thing is, the fights do not get easier. The Collector has now come through. The Infernal Soul has now come through.
Drakos, can I just say, sorry to interrupt you, look at Excel's inventory. Look at the pink ward line. How satisfying is that?
I think for Youngbuck, that has to probably be his favorite part of this game. I'm more excited about the Collector, I'm not going to lie to you. But that there is a thing of macro beauty, and see what they can do with this vision. Vitality feel like they're on life support at this point in the game. Yes, it's only a 3K deficit, but look at the damage coming out of that Xayah.
Can I just say, Selfmade has plate the steel caps, a chain vest, and a cloth armor. And that's the damage the Xayah just did to him. Half his HP in a QE, when he has got a lot of armor already. 142 armor built up. Let's look at Carzzy's armor. Yeah, if that hits, the graveyard is coming soon to Carzzy's screen. It will go gray, I imagine, with this Infernal sold up 5-item Xayah.
Well, it's 30% armor pen. Remember, because it's not just lethality. You've got a little bit of lethality in there, but it's 30% armor pen plus an additional 4 for every completed item past the thing. So you're already piercing through 42% before you even get to the lethality. Armor, not feeling quite as hot as it might have in the early game. Rocket going in though.
Baron
will get blocked there. Baron now taken out. XL can probably just keep this fight going. Again, they're playing so cautiously and with so much respect though, they don't want to risk anything. Vitality, seeing they might have a small window of opportunity, could try to push mid lane. They have a small wave here. Carzzy can step forward and at least get the tier 2, but otherwise they're gonna have to walk away empty-handed.
Yeah, look at XL though. Tier 2 was already low. Vitality will pick it up. XL already hitting onto the top tier 2. Bot wave is pushing in as well. Objective bounty across to Vitality, but no one's in base yet, so XL should be able to get this top tier 3 uncontested. Nukeduck has TP, and XL just playing very patient, very reserved, playing the map, not taking fights which could favor Vitality even 1%. Just want to make sure they poke them out before anything happens.
And this is the level of confidence and coordination you want. Hold that thought. Lockup now coming in. Advienne gonna back away. Vitality maybe pushing for something.
Has been so slippery. He's dodged away from so many Vex ults, so many rockets, so many hooks. So much mobility.
And Caedrel, I think that we can't sing enough praise for Excel. Yes, ultimately it will be a 1-2 week if they win here, but the confidence and coordination that they are showing in this game is what we expected from a team and a lineup that kept 4 out of 5 players. It's nice to see it here in this game, that even when Finn got knocked down, that bot lane, that mid lane were able to balance it out. Now he's back in the game. They've got an Infernal Soul, 4K gold lead, Baron buff still empowering them as they push for more, and they're set up to win here. But that said, Advienne, how slippery is he? Not slippery enough. The knockback coming in though. Markoon doing huge damage. Power the Infernal Soul. Labrov with the Lantern just in time as Selfmade and he are going to retreat.
Nukeduck, they're behind you.
Alone in the mid lane. Nukeduck has his eyes on the objective and the win, Caedrel. He is not playing team deathmatch. This is not Halo. This is not Slayer. This man wants towers.
He's the opposite of that one guy in an objective game where he's just playing for kills in a Strongholds game or in an oddball game. No, they just got past Nukeduck's vision line. If he saw them, he probably could have taken them out, but Vitality escaped with a kill. Not enough to weather the storm though. Selfmade going in.
Ooh, feathers go a little bit wide there. Rocket does not, though. That's a big shutdown. Suddenly Perkz off to the side. Takes way too big of a chunk to follow for anything else, but Selfmade now has all of those items for the next 10 seconds. Sadly, Vitality not going to get the chance to use them.
Actually, I just realized Nukeduck is 0-0-0. You're completely right. He is playing for the objective. So Markoon saw Carzzy walk over that ping, so Advienne thinks something's up here. It's a bit sus. The hook actually misses. Is this a shock blast? Onto the backline. Carzzy's 15% HP from that single shot. And look at Nukeduck. He just about misses Selfmade and Labrov. Tries to chase Carzzy down.
Thank you, observers. It's not that he's a PvE gamer. It's that he's a thirsting for the AD carry gamer.
Ah, I see. He's trying to hunt him down. But you saw there, Patrik got stunned. He cleansed the stun, but he got feared a millisecond afterwards. And the fear was about to run out, so he could ult or flash, but the rocket hit him just before. So small mistakes coming in perhaps from XL, but 1 minute on Elder Dragon could turn the tide of a game. Look at Carzzy's items.
Remember, yeah, just moments ago, we were 1.5 items for Carzzy. It was 3.5 items for the side of Patrik. Now it's 4 items for the Jinx and a stopwatch to the 4.5 items coming in for Patrik. So keep your eyes on Carzzy in the fight if they can't burst him down. And while they do have tools on Excel to do it, this guy could be huge in the next fight.
Actually, just looking at items, double stopwatch on the carries of Vitality. 4 items for the Jinx, double Guardian Angel on the top jungle, Elder in 30 seconds. Look at the amount of wards on the bot side of the map that Alphari can TP to that XL have not swept out. Yes, they have an Infernal Soul in their head, but an Elder Dragon turns the tide of the entire game. If Vitality can steal it, secure it, or get it whatsoever, XL might just lose this game. So they're going to hold their control for now. Alphari will have a perfect position to TP to. The rest of Vitality just need to make sure they're in range.
It feels like Vitality have been in total control for so incredibly long. To lose it all here on an Elder would be so incredibly difficult. Now, Selfmade poking, looking for just a little bit of damage. There has to be careful though. Unstoppable over the wall. Might just get picked off by the burst. Is going to resurrect here. But that's 1 GA down before the fight even starts. Selfmade relatively low. Sticking around would be so incredibly difficult, but it feels like if he backs, it's just so easy for Elder Dragon to be started. He's going to get pulled back over the wall. He's going to try to heal off the objective at least a little bit. Alphari waiting off to the flank. Nukeduck has spotted him out. He goes invisible. He's ready to commit. He has to commit now. That's going to be 2 members knocked up. Perkz looking for an opportunity to go into the backside, but he only hits the Rakan, and the snare goes wide. Excel standing strong. Alphari using the second proc of the ultimate to try to get something done. He will not be dropped. It's such a close fight. Excel have the health bar advantage, but it's the TP in the mid lane that might matter most. Now the Jayce is pushing in. Finn looking to end the game. Who's going to get the Elder? At the end of the day, the bounty's been secured. The buffs are there. They just need to recall. That is massive.
massive for Vitality. Finn will not have enough time to end the game unless they can stop these recalls, unless they can stop Vitality from returning to their base. Finn, he can't even take down the second tower, but he will take down the Wukong. Now they're all leaping in Finn. What can he do? Finn taking down Selfmade! And right in the moment where it matters most from disaster in the lane phase, no, not the moment to end. Excel descending, Excel poised to end the game. Carzzy now versus the world.
3 members of Excel up. Finn is going to kite him out. Carzzy has Elden Dragon. He needs to be very, very careful now. Nukeduck's on the way. There's still 24 seconds on Labrov. They're just going to sprint to the Nexus. Carzzy, 1 versus 3, has ultimate and has heal.
Walking forward, Patrik throwing the ultimate down. Carzzy goes gold and buys a moment, but it just is not going to be enough. Excel taking him down, the shutdown, the GG. Excel find their first win in the LEC.
And a huge sigh of relief from the Excel house. I can hear it from here all the way on the other side of Berlin, because going 0-3 in a super week like that would be devastating, despite such good early game leads and such good mid games. The late game even became close for Vitality, but they managed to close it out. TP in the base from Finn. He kills 3 members of Vitality. He killed Alphari when he TP'd in. He beat Selfmade in the 1v1, and then he finished off Carzzy at the end. Closed out the game. Good decision making, but it was close to call.
An incredible back and forth game. Excel finally able to close out a game where they're favored. Fantastic to see. Heartbreaking for Vitality. Finn just kind of taking the clown car moment there as they all come in. Obviously now is a chance to vote for your player of the game. See those options now in front of you. Nukeduck, Patrik, or Advienne are going to be your choices. It's a tough one.
Advienne in that last fight, if you rewatch it, Perkz hit ultimate on him and he knew there was a massive fear going in the backline. Advienne popped ult and he ran in the opposite direction as fast as possible. And as Perkz connected, the rest of the team was over here. So Advienne, man of the fight there, I have to say.
Advienne definitely showing up big. That bot lane from Excel, truly terrifying. Of course, we'll soon give you the takeaway from Excel's win as Laure is joined by Finn. In the meantime, we'll see you shortly.